Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run through the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. So we've generally got cool conditions with a lot of rain around at times. Nothing too heavy at this stage, but plenty of areas of drizzle, light rain and even some moderate to heavy bursts, as well as we do see weather fronts move in. As well as the longer range, in the second half of the video, we'll be able to see from the GFS, GM, Eastern WF and the ensembles, this sort of cool and unsettled pattern will continue into early parts of July. But there are still some hints, as we saw yesterday, around that 10th of July point, things could turn a little bit warmer, with air masses coming up more from the south, but also with warmer, more humid air masses, could be a little bit more thundery around, with some thunderstorms returning perhaps, as it doesn't look likely that low pressure will get completely moved away. So even if those air masses do increase, we do see warmer conditions as we do head into July. We're still going to have low pressure around, instability around, areas of rain around, so there will still be the risk of precipitation as we do head into the early parts of July. So if you're looking for something warm and dry, it's not looking great in the next few weeks. There'll be plenty of drier weather at times, but nothing's too sustained, and most areas will maybe get by with 24 hours without rainfall, but not too much longer than that. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So do start on the live radar. You can see it's quite a unsettled day today, with a lot of rain around in northern and western regions. We've got a weather front through northern regions, and you can see some very heavy rain along it, and this is a cold front. Just on the exact cold front boundary, we are seeing a little bit of line convection, but it's nothing too severe, and seeing some heavy rain there, with some more moderate rain either side of the weather front. To the east, we're in much more muggy air in from the west. It's not hot and humid by any means, but the dew point's higher. There's a lot more moisture in the air. Temperatures are warmer today, where we see a bit of sunshine, maybe 25 degrees or so. But areas where we see the thicker cloud, we are likely to see it just feel a little bit sort of muggy out there. And we're seeing a lot of showers with drizzly patches developing as well, even down into the south and east, where we haven't got any actual rainfall on the live radar. We are seeing some low cloud and some drizzly conditions down there as well. So, yeah, not a great day, but it's not a washout by any means in most regions. If you do put on the temperatures as of around 1 PM, you can see it is warm ahead of that weather front, especially for northern eastern areas, perhaps far east of East Anglia, and far south coast as well. Again, these areas are likely seeing more sunshine and breaks in that cloud. Other regions further inland and further to the west, close to that weather front, seeing thicker cloud, hence those slightly lower temperatures. So it's not too bad out there today, but it's just that cloud and a bit of drizzly rain through most of England and Wales that is holding the conditions back. Further north and westwards, that cooler air mass is now moving in, and you can see the temperatures are dropping there, more yellows and blues, indicating low teens to mid-teens, perhaps initially under the rain band, but through this afternoon we could get up to the high teens, where we do see a bit of sunshine, perhaps across western Scotland, Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Now, if we do go over to the UKV now and have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, you can see all that rain moving through at the moment, a lot of thick cloud around. It could break at times ahead of the weather front. Eventually that weather front does sweep through this evening, and we do see slightly drier conditions later tonight, but still that weather front could linger in the southeast into tomorrow morning and could provide some more moderate bursts of rain at times there, as it does get a little bit more juiced up there as it exits out into the channel out towards the North Sea as well. Into Thursday, a few showers around, but nothing too bad. But we're going to keep our eye out on the west for the next weather system that could be coming in. As you can see, thicker cloud is starting to develop as we have showers in the afternoon, and you can slowly see the rainfall increasing from the west through the early hours of Friday, and perhaps a big mass of light to moderate rain through Friday afternoon. Initially in the south and the west, before that just sort of decays away, and then a larger area of rain further northwards. So it's looking like Friday could be quite a bit of a washout here, with plenty of light to moderate rain. Nothing too heavy within this, but again, similar to today, but probably more widespread, with a lot of thick cloud, a lot of drizzle, and that lighter rain moving in from the west, and that prolonging all the way to Saturday morning. Again, probably quite another muggy feel with a lot of moisture in the air. And into Saturday, the first day of July, the morning may start a little bit muggy with showers around, thicker cloud. But by around lunchtime, things should clear with some more sunshine breaking through and a few showers in the north, but nothing too crazy. Into Sunday, another decent day. Could be showers in the north once again, but we're seeing a little bit of respite from the rain and the cloud before it could reintroduce itself from the southeast as we head into Monday. If you look at the upper air temperatures, you can see why we're going to see these sort of conditions as we head into Friday. You can see quite a muggy air mass there, getting to the low teens. That would produce high 20s if we had drier conditions with low pressure. With this being wrapped around into low pressure, it's just going to be rainy out there. And you see those warmer air masses do continue for finally getting swept away into Saturday, and that brings that much fresher, drier air mass, meaning less cloud and less rain into Saturday before it could move back into Monday. And the same could be said for the dew points. If we do have a look at Friday's dew points, you see much higher dew points, especially in the west initially before transferring further eastwards. Sort of mid-teens. Again, doesn't sound too bad, but if we wanted dry conditions, you're expecting dew points in the single digits, really. These dew points showing you how much moisture is in the air. And then eventually you can see the dew points do lower once again into Sunday, before potentially rising once again in the far southwest as another muggy air mass to move in. So these sort of drizzly, cloudy, thick cloud conditions with rain around. To tell when that's sort of going to happen, really, you've got to look at the dew points. Precipitation charts can be useful, but sometimes don't always pick up on individual areas of rain or drizzle, etc. If you just want to know the general theme, it is good to have a look at the dew points. They're a very good indication on how dry the air is. And in this case, over the next few days, there's going to be plenty of times where the air has got a lot of moisture, therefore a lot of glow cloud, a lot of drizzly rain, and a bit of a muggy feel. Now, to put on the 2 meter temperatures, they're not going to be too bad over the coming days. They're not going to be exceptional either. You can see today maybe squeezing in 24 or 25 degrees ahead of the weather front. Again, most likely where we see a bit of sunshine. Again, probably northeast England, maybe the far south coast, and eastern England. Even areas with thicker cloud and drizzle during central regions still could see 22 or 23. So still a generally warm day in places, but it might not feel all too great with the cloud and rain. As we progress into Thursday's likely to be slightly cooler in a few regions, mid to high teens, further north and westwards, maybe still dropping into the low 20s in the far southeast. Into Friday, again, we're going to see again a bit of muggy conditions around, perhaps in the far east, 21 to 23, but most regions in the mid to high teens, maybe even low teens over higher ground and towards western coastal areas as that wind comes in off the Atlantic. Into Saturday, again, could be a little bit warmer in the south. You can see how the temperatures are oscillating up and down, associated warmer and cooler sectors, 24 or 25 degrees here, further cooler northwards and westwards, and then finally into Sunday, again, could be 23 or 24 across the far southeast, but further northwards and westwards, slightly cooler. So you can see the temperatures are not too bad over the coming days, but not particularly great either. Definitely a lot cooler than it's been recently. Top temperature we might see in the next 5 days is a 24 or 25 degree today. Big change to where we're seeing that widely for a number of weeks leading up to this during June. So June looked like it has peaked a lot earlier, and now the end of June is going to be back down to more towards average temperatures with higher precipitation. But is that going to sustain itself as we head into July? Now, the best way to look at that is look at the long range. So if we do have a look at the GFS, you can see the westerly winds coming in at the moment, coming in straight off the Atlantic. Quite a lot of moisture associated with that, and that's why we're seeing a lot of cloud and drizzle. Continued area of low pressures moving in, and there's the risk we could see some stronger winds at times, perhaps towards the end of the weekend, maybe stormier conditions, perhaps across northern Scotland where the isobars are quite tight. Again, we'll have to look at that near at the time. And generally see northerly winds as we head into next week, so it could be pretty chilly. And eventually into longer range, low pressure still continues to move in, but it's slightly further westwards, so instead of the winds coming directly off the Atlantic, they're more coming from the Azores, so they'll be slightly warmer, and this is why, as I said at the start of the video, there is the risk that temperatures do increase, but precipitation still stays around. Beyond that, you see low pressure is still nearby, and the wind's actually veered to a southerly, so it could turn hot at times, but low pressure nearby, always bringing the risk of showers and increasingly thunderstorms if we do see hot and humid air masses move in. Now, we're pretty sure on what the air masses will be like for the next 5 days, so if you start there, you can see the cooler air masses potentially moving in towards the end of this weekend into the start of next week, and then eventually more of a westerly flow progresses in off the Atlantic, and then you can see a bit of a southerly wind there developing, again maybe even the 15-degree isotherm moving in, so it could bring the risk of thunderstorms once again, and even getting wrapped around in these low pressure systems, maybe not even producing thunderstorms, but could produce some very heavy rain with those temperature clashes. Right towards 384 hours, again seeing more Atlantic systems move in, but generally slightly more settled with an extension of the Azores high trying to move in and the low pressure pushed back towards Greenland. So GFS is a bit more mixed in the long term, bringing definitely warmer air masses in, but still keeping a generally unsettled theme. Could be hot at times, could be thundery at times, but is not looking likely to be widely dry. There is hints of high pressure moving in, but at no point do we see high pressure really parked on top of us. If we do move into the GEM, again, westerly flow moving in at the moment. Again, continue to stay very unsettled over the next few days, and northerly winds moving in. And again, low pressure systems could really spiral up nearby. Next week, again, could be a little bit stormy right towards day 10. Again, seeing that tilt of the isobars coming more from the southwest, more from the Azores. So perhaps slightly warmer air, not quite arrived at this point, but slightly warmer air, but still keeping us reasonably unsettled. If you compare it to the ECMWF, again, westerly flow continuing to dominate over the coming days, remaining unsettled even into next week. Again, low pressure continues to rumble in off the Atlantic. But here, again, southwesterly flow, low pressure still involved, so still likely to be unsettled and rainy, but we are starting to see more of a southwesterly here. Still the air mass is not particularly warm, but could start to indicate hotter air maybe moving up for a time in the extended range, towards the 10th to 15th of July. One thing we also need to keep an eye on is all the hot air down towards the Mediterranean. Because of the Atlantic flow coming in, it stops all this hot air escaping northwards, and it just basically means a big heat dome does develop across North Africa into the Mediterranean. Again, nothing too unusual for these regions, but it just means that they will be probably hotter than average, and it means that if we did see a southerly flow develop during July, it could mean that a southerly flow is more potent than normal. Temperatures, mid to high 30s is possible with these sort of 25-degree plus upper air temperatures. So we will have to see what happens, but that's also something we need to keep an eye on, because if we did see a southerly flow start to come in the model output, it could really liven up the conditions very quickly, because those air masses to our south will be hotter than normal. Again, you can see that on the temperature deviation. You see, again, it doesn't look ridiculous here because these regions are used to those quite warm upper air temperatures, but even across parts of the Mediterranean, upper air temperatures are 8 to maybe 10 degrees above average, and if that moved towards the UK at some point, which is entirely possible through July, then it would be 15 degrees above average for the UK. So we'll have to see exactly what happens, but that is also something we need to keep a close eye on in the longer term. If you finish by looking at the GFS, the latest ensembles out across the next couple of weeks, again, generally below average into early July. Plenty of precipitation around, but nothing too huge. As I said, mostly light to moderate rainfall. So again, I'm not expecting huge rainfall totals, but still could see a few millimetres on some of the days. Again, rainfall will be heaviest further northwards and westwards, and in the longer term we do trend more towards average, and even some runs, including the operational run, going well above average up towards that 15-degree range, maybe 5 to 10 ensemble members getting there or thereabouts. But precipitation remains high in the longer term, no real distinct reduction in that, so it's more of that wind veering more from a southerly than from a westerly, meaning increasing in the warmer air masses, but not really any major change in the pressure pattern. Again, the 2-metre temperatures are not going to be exceptional, but low 20s, maybe high teens at times where we see more rain. So generally average, slightly above, slightly below, depending on the day, and a bit of an increase in the longer term. But again, that's associated with those warmer runs. The dew point is going to be up and down. You can see it's high today, lower tomorrow, high again through Friday, Saturday before lowering, and I'm expecting to see more of these oscillations. Again, pretty typical when we're seeing colder and warmer fronts moving in off the Atlantic. Whenever we see these higher dew points, it'll be a little bit more muggy, we'll have a bit more moisture in the air, low cloud and drizzle. When we see lower dew points, a bit more sunshine and blue skies out there. And finally, if we just look at the ECMWF, again, very similar, generally average to below average over the next week to 10 days, and then a trend to more above average in the longer term, but no massive distinction. Again, maybe 10 to 15 runs, maybe a third of the ensemble members getting up towards that potentially 15-degree range at 850 HP at some point around that sort of 10th of July point. So definitely is a trend for warmer conditions, but you can see by the ensemble mean that really is only pushing it a couple of degrees above average. So no massive signal, but definitely a little bit of a signal of some warmer conditions. But the precipitation in the eastern BF actually gets increased at that period, so it could be a very thundery and very hot pattern potentially as we head towards the middle third of July. But at this stage we are still looking at hints, and we've just got to decide for the next couple of weeks where it is looking generally cool and unsettled. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. Do cherish the warmer and drier periods we do have over the next couple of weeks, as they may be few and far between, but equally it's not going to be too bad. It's still fairly pleasant out there regardless of the precipitation, and again, the precipitation is not going to be too heavy as well. So I hope you can go out and enjoy it. And of course, I know many people watching this will probably enjoy these slightly less oppressive conditions, so once again, go out and enjoy when we do see a bit of sunshine out there, a bit of dry conditions in between any rain bands. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you have enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.